Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your Dortmund versus Chelsea preview. The first of two legs in this round of 16. Listen, it's a big game, guys. It's a massive game. It's the last trophy that is even up for grabs for the rest of the season. And I know there's nerves because we're playing at Dortmund against an 81k capacity for the first time and a team that has not lost in 8 and is on 5 straight league wins. They're in flying form. Gone are the days where we were looking at them in the table and they were hovering around 6th, 7th. They've boosted themselves up into 3rd, right behind Union Berlin and Bayern Munich. They're basically in a title race now. It's not easy in these streets. Now, I'm doing this recording a day before the usual recording for previews because I'm going to Nice on Tuesday when this comes out. I would be in Nice by then and I don't want to work obviously and do content while I'm away. It's meant to be a break. We'll be doing the Dortmund Chelsea watch along, however. That's all I'm going to be doing along with the review. Outside of that, I'm off the grid. So I'm going to be talking mainly about the Potter situation, the team that I would play going into the game, less so on quotes from press conferences and team news. Because listen, at the end of the day, we know the injury list is long. There's always a scroll bar along the bottom for updates. And on top of that as well, we know the press conferences, people don't like the quotes coming out at the moment. But what I'm starting to see very evidently is the players like Reece James coming out, speaking out in support of the manager, in support of the new players coming in, and that things will take time to progress and to hopefully prevail. Now, really good news is that it seems like Todd Boehly and George Mendes have a great relationship. That was the first thing that I saw today. And, you know, he might be considering building the team around Felix. I would love that. And that we could be going after him in the summer. We'll see what the fee is, what Atletico demand. I'm really happy with Felix so far. He's a breath of fresh air. He's crucial. It's why he had to be registered for this Champions League group. Yes, Badiashile not being in is tough to take. And I would have Trevor Chalobah come into the team personally over Koulibaly in that back four. We're going to get into my team later on. But having Felix in there's a necessity. The guy has been, you know, fantastic in the game and a half he's played. He's shown his class. And Enzo as well, obviously, they combined for the goal against West Ham. So we keep building around that. My last preview, I said in my title, you build the team around Felix and Enzo Fernandez, in my opinion. And it sounds, hopefully, like that's what we're planning to do. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, there is progression. I think the team selection against West Ham was a lot more in the direction of what I would like to see. There are question marks around Cucurella because his performance was not great. Kai Havertz, people talk about in terms of striker finishing versus Fofana, etc. So there's still maybe tweaks to come. But the basis of it, the consensus of it was strong. You know, you have your new signings out there. You have your January players that have not accumulated many minutes. I said it on the roundabout. They have not, you know, when we take this 13, 12, 11 game run, it's very easy to say, okay, well, we've only won 2 in that run. And that's not good enough. But you have to separate that run out and look at the players from the start of that run to the end of that run. It's basically now potentially almost a new team. So that's going to take time to bed in. And these chemistries have to form. That's what the players are saying. It's what I said on the roundabout. And I'm guessing that's what they're saying behind the scenes in terms of that report that came on from David Ornstein, saying that Chelsea are backing Potter and they're keeping him for the long term and they're not looking at, you know, game by game. They're looking at the years, the months. And I think that's how you have to judge him. You do have to give him more time. That for me, sacking 2 managers on the back of 2 transfer windows, days, weeks after the window's closed, with new players, it's unfair once, but we know relationship-wise broke down. To do it twice with the manager you appointed would be ludicrous. So you have to give him time to put this new team together and to actually showcase what his plan is, what his style is, and implement it. And there's no way you could demand a style to be in place with 6, 7, 8 new signings, and then on top of that, injuries galore. So every time you do put a player in and they actually perform, there's an injury every game, so you have to take them back out, and that's just more chopping and changing. Consistently, we've had injuries like no other. That doesn't mean that he's not to blame for things like substitutions. Against West Ham, the substitutions were poor. The in-game management needs to improve. For some people, the quotes and the comments need to be better. They need to be stronger. They need to be more Chelsea in terms of that winning mentality. I'm personally straying away from quotes. I don't really care what he says at the moment. I need to see what's happening on the pitch as a coach in terms of what is he implementing, what is he developing in terms of young players, and that is going to take time to see. Now, going into this game against Dortmund, it's anybody's game. It really is. Like, you have to say, we don't know what's going to happen, do we? Dortmund are a good team. We're a good team. We're going up against them, but we have to be aiming to come out of this, you know, and passing into the quarterfinals. You take it game by game. We're away from home first. It's not an easy place to go, especially in the form they're in. You take it to the bridge. That's a slight advantage for us, and then you try and progress to the quarterfinals. For me personally, like I said, Trevor and Silva is that back two. They're building up Chilwell's minutes progressively, slowly. You can see they're accumulating bit by bit. Is Chilwell ready to start and play a full 90 minutes? I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes, but if he is, again, same as last preview, I put an asterisk next to his name. I would like Chilwell to start. I think his impact off the bench was very clear. Cucurella, confidence issues, whatever it is, he's not progressing the play. He's not giving us that link to Mudryk that needs to be there, and Mudryk isn't getting enough touches, and we saw that against Fulham, and we're definitely seeing that now in the last game against West Ham. It might be tactical instruction to be more inverted, to be more defensive, to stop those transitions. That's no problem if you're not told to overlap or underlap. But it's not even that his crossing or going forward, he's been particularly great anyway. So that's not a problem. But you have to be passing that ball to Mudryk. You have to be funneling it over to him. So Chilwell, he's gonna do that. As soon as he came on, he made an underlapping run immediately. So I don't know if that's because we was chasing the game, instruction again. But Chilwell, he seems to have that confidence about him. So I'd have him in there. Reece James, obviously, he's building up his minutes, no problem. In the midfield, I keep it the same. I think, listen, Loftus-Cheek did a very good job with Enzo Fernandez. There was a balance there. You had a bit of height, a bit of physicality, a bit of a ball carrying, and then you had it next to the passing, the vision, and the tempo control from him. So it was a good balance. It's not perfect, but it will do the job at the moment with what we've got available. And again, if we're trying to establish chemistries, relationships, understanding, we need to kind of try and keep as much as we can the same, because it was a good opening 40 minutes. And then you go into Felix, and again, for me, I stick with Mudryk. I want to see him with Chilwell. I think that was a big mistake from Graham Potter to take off Chilwell to take off Cucurella and take off Mudryk at the same time. Leave Chilwell and Cucurella. Let's leave Chilwell and Mudryk. Let's see what happens. Let's see what forms of that. Because once he gets that support, once he gets more touches, he showed with that reverse pass to Kai Havertz that was a fraction offside according to VAR. That he can create. Mudryk, as much as Mudryk's catching strays from each fan base, rival fans, when he gets on the ball, he looks like he wants to make things happen. He's giving you the reverse passes. He's giving you the link-up play in his first game against Liverpool. He's trying to make an impact. And Madueke on the same thing on the right-hand side. I think he's set a record for dribbles completed or take-ons, successful take-ons. Yes, his passing could have been a bit better, but he's taking people on. He's going past people. Again, confidence is building. Reece James has said it. There's a lot of new players. It's going to take time, but that's kind of a reflection of where we're at. We're going to get some things. We're not going to get others. We have to. You know, it's got to glue together. These players have not even played full 90 minutes together. You know, what do we expect? And then up front, listen, you take your pick. It's probably going to be Kai Havertz in a massive game like this. I'm not really calling for Fofana to start in a massive Champions League knockout game. If he's not going to get it in the Premier League as a start, then he's not going to get it in the Champions League. Listen, I don't think Kai Havertz is particularly prolific. I don't think he's really even a striker long term. I personally have got a list gathering. Ivan Toney, if he doesn't get the scandal with the betting and he's available to actually play a significant amount of games in the next couple of years, he looks good. We've been linked with Oshimin as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. Victor Roque as well, much younger, but just done really well. Joint top scorer with the under-20s for Brazil, along with Andre Santos, who every single time I wake up has scored another goal. This young midfielder that we have to bring into the team, into the squad also with that work permanent. But again, err on the side of caution. I know people are already calling for him to start week in, week out. You know, they're excited. He scored goals in the under-20s. He's also going to need time. He probably will make some mistakes. He is going to have to step up to Premier League level, as Carney Chukwuemeka had to do against Liverpool, and his touch was a bit rusty, as Lewis Hall had to do against Liverpool, and the passing was a bit wayward, as Fofana had to do and rounded the keeper and didn't score. These young players, as Broja has had to do against Brentford, these young players that, you know, temper your expectations. They're talented. They look like they've got something to bring. Potential is there. Exciting times. But if Andre Santos does come into the team at some point this season, you know, make sure that you're understanding that there could be some mistakes. There could be some errors. It's his first time playing in the Premier League. That is part and parcel with how it goes. If he bursts onto the scene and does a madness immediately, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But he is only 18. Like I said, for me personally, the only instant impacts that I expected was Enzo Fernandez and João Felix. Badiashile has come in and surprised me. I didn't know him. very well at all. He's just been an instant impact. And the two wingers, like I said, they're young, they're acclimatizing, they got to get their support from their fullbacks, and they got to develop as well. So I've said it already. I feel like, yes, on Graham Potter, I'm critical of what he's on, what he's doing, what he's not doing. But for me, I need to see more time. Right now, as I said on Twitter, on my burner, the chicken is in the fridge. It's being marinated. It's now marinating, and we're going to take it out and we're going to cook it later on. For me personally, don't eat the chicken raw. Don't make snap judgments. It's the first time that there's some stability at the club. We've had transfers, we've had staff coming in left, right, and centre. We've had ownership, we've had change of manager earlier on in the season. Have a bit of stability now. I know people are frustrated that we are where we are, but have a bit of stability, and let's actually see over a period what the manager is going to do over a stretch with this new team. Because for me, like I said, this team is vastly different and not comparable to the team that we saw, before the window opened. It was Aspilicueta, it was Jorginho, it was Aubameyang. It's a completely different team now. And I feel like, yes, we've spent 600 million, but I keep saying it. Just because you've spent money, it's how you spend that money and what is the expectations with that money spent. Of course, improvement, of course, challenging and trying to get into the top four. But also, if you're buying a load of under 23 players, it's probably not going to be instant impact. If you're, putting that money over two windows, and one window is with one manager, one window is with another manager, Potter, it's probably not aligning the two sets of players, and that's an issue. That's what we need to cut out. That's what we need to stop. You bring in another manager, now it's suddenly three managers over three windows come in the summer, and what was the message sent to the new young players that are coming in that are trying to have some sort of camaraderie, some sort of togetherness to move in one direction, when you've just now brought them in under a manager and sacked him 2 weeks later after the window, near Valentine's Day of all days, and suddenly now we're going in someone else's direction. Let's just stabilize it for a little bit, and again, he's got to fix up. He's got to get results, 100%. He's got to start improving. But we're going to see, hopefully, in the next few weeks, months, what happens. Hopefully, he improves. He should improve, in my opinion. He's a good coach. I still believe he's a good coach. So that's my preview for the Dortmund game. Anything can happen, people. Hopefully we can bag a win. It's one of those games that if it was a elite, top tactician, top manager, world class, a Tuchel, etc., you go into this game with maybe more confidence. You expect that we're gonna get a win, etc. But the circumstances right now are a little bit different. But at the same time, like I said, I'm hopeful game by game, and I really want us to pass through this round. It's not going to be easy. We spoke about Dortmund, Bellingham, Marco Reus played last game, Emre Can, Reina was on the wide positions, Moukoko. I don't know who's going to play in this Dortmund team. They've had a bundle of different players during the season. Sebastian Haller was playing more often prior, etc. We're going to see what happens, like I said, on team news and who's available, who's not. That scroll bar will be there. Hopefully we get that win, people, or hopefully we get a proper result we take back to the bridge and we go from there. Until next time, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.